Well, Ashley, what made Boise State a good fit for you?
Uh, you know what? I tell you what made it a great fit for me was just the tradition here, the staff. Those guys, they seem like they work well together, continuity, and I know a few of these guys already as well. But the thing that was really good is when I thought about this decision here, I was like, well, man, it's the blue turf, it's the tradition they've been carrying on over the last 12 to 15 years, and you get the opportunity to be at a school like this and what they're doing. That's what you want to be a part of, and that's how I felt. I wanted to be a part of it.
What was your situation coming out of last season? I mean, were you kind of looking for something new, or what was your situation?
Yeah, I actually was. I had a few things I had a few things going, and it just so happened, here was an opportunity to, a place to come interview and do things, and it worked out perfectly. After I came here, I was like, my wife and I was praying that this would be the place, and it worked out well. And, I believe things happen for a reason, and I'm glad to be here. I'm really excited to be here. Heard a lot of great things about Boise. So,
when they hired you, I assume you expected to be working with Marcel, and obviously he's a DB guy, and now you're kind of the only DB guy in the place. How did that change things for you?
Well, it changed things a lot. I mean, talking to Marcel, knowing I would be working with him. Next thing you know, I'm coming in, and he was leaving. So, it's part of this business. I understand how things happen, and Marcel, he wants that opportunity to be a head coach, and he got an opportunity to make a step towards that by going there to be a DC at Arizona. So, my hat's off to him, and best of luck to him. But it's just part of it. Hey, Coach Harsin said, "You want to coach the whole secondary?" Everybody said, "Hey, I've done it." So it's nothing like it's not like I haven't done it before. So, but I'm excited. I'm here, and whatever we decide for as a coach, if we're gonna bring in safeties guy or backer, I don't know. I just what. If it's me, it's just me.
What's your kind of style of coaching? What are you going to bring to the table here? What should we anticipate from you?
Well, you know what? I'm a guy. I'm gonna bring a lot of energy. I like running around with these players because I feel like I'm living through these guys. Being a former player and everything. I mean, I like being around them. I like jumping around, running around. I like that part of the game. And that's what they're gonna see from me. I'm a big technician. I'm all about technique. I want these guys to understand the game of football. Sometimes you have some guys that's very athletic and they don't know the game, but I want these guys to understand the game of football. So I'm gonna be hard on them about that. I'm gonna be tough on them about technique because the technique wins this game half the time. If you can play with great leverage and do what you're supposed to do technique-wise and know where the other players are on the football field, you can be very successful. And that's the one reason why I say I played as long as I did because I wasn't running a 4-3, 13 years in the league, 12 years in the league. I wasn't. I know, but my technique got me through, so I stress that to these guys.
As a former NFL guy, the school's put a ton of guys in the league. What did that come to play for you to take this gig, the history of the defensive backs here?
Well, you know what? I got a lot of shoes to fill, and my thing is I want to continue that tradition going, and I plan on doing that. I plan on getting guys in here and helping them develop as football players, young men, and continue the DB tradition going here. And I think, it's over the last 10 years, there's been a lot of good football players come out of here, a lot of defensive backs, and that's what we got to hang our pride on. As far as I do, and I got a lot of shoes to fill. So.
Do you use that NFL experience as a recruiting tool?
Well, yeah, you have to. A lot of times, I do. My thing is this: I'm really not a guy that like to boast about myself. When I go into home, I want them to understand who I am, that I'm a real person, that I'm a normal person. A lot of times when they know who I am, it comes up. And the thing about it is when it does come up, I want to share that experience with them because they're going to ask questions. So half those families, the kids, the moms, the dads, it's really the moms and the dads, the parents. They the ones know because I'm their age. So they're like, oh yeah, I remember when you played. So I do use that as a tool, and they ask me like, how did you get there? And I just tell them the way and how you have to work to get there.
You don't see a.
You mentioned knowing a couple guys here on staff or whatnot. Who kind of initiated the contact, and how did that whole process begin for you?
Actually, the first person I talked to was Marcel. I mean, I've been knowing Marcel for a while, and I know Coach Ritter, and I know Coach Ambrose. I mean, I talked to Marcel first, and then I ended up talking to Andy and Coach Riddle. And I mean, I was with Coach Pitt. I mean, I was with all of those guys. I think a lot of them had a hand in it. But it was the first person, like I said, was Coach Yates.
You don't see a ton of guys that play in the NFL as long as you did, and then decide that they want to do this for a living. What is it that made you want to get into college coaching after that much time in football?
You know, it's a funny deal. It's because you're right. You don't see many guys that do it. But I had a coach tell me once when I was playing, because I was always that guy after practice. You know, you can go home and do whatever. I was always that guy in the film room. And he was saying, you know, you're gonna be a coach one day. You're gonna be a coach one day. I was like, there's no way I'll be a coach because you guys are up there forever. And I always believed I wouldn't be a coach. And then so after I retired, the year out, football season came around, and I wanted to go see everybody and wanted to, you know, watch the games and do everything. And then I just got that itch, and I said, you know what, maybe he was right. I do want to be a coach. I wanted to be around the game. I wanted to be able to help develop, you know, young guys. So that's what got me into it, and he was right. He was right all along.
You mentioned having shoes to fill, and obviously you got the secondary boost as a first or second round pick possibly, and Darian Thompson and Dante Dion, you know, some key guys. I know you haven't had a lot of time, probably you're just still unpacking your bags, but what do you make of the group that you're going to be coaching, and what the group's going to look like going
Well, we got a
forward?
pretty good group. You know, we got a pretty good group, and I think we could be very good if they continue to work hard. You know, those guys, what I want them to do is, you know, live in the now. You know, don't worry about the future and all that stuff with this hoes. I know they can look at DT and look at Dion and all of that stuff, but what they need to do is just make themselves better now. You know, make themselves better and continue to work harder. And you know, if they live each day in the now, they'll be fine. You know, so it's just we got a good group of kids.